The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn, is a quote said by Alvin Toffler. What if teaching less could lead to learning more? The Big Table explores the bold shift from content-heavy schooling to cultivating agile learners, those who can adapt, evolve, and lead in a constantly changing world. So are we ready for round 4 of the Big Table? Please join me in welcoming our speakers onto the stage. Our host for this session is Mr. Himmat Dhillon, Headmaster, the Lawrence School, Sanawar. Dr. Seetha Murty, Director, Silver Oaks International School, Hyderabad. Dr. Richa Prakash, Principal, DPS Kalyanpur, Kanpur. Mr. Daniel D'Souza, Co-founder, DreamSetGo. Mr. Aditya Gandhi, Co-founder, Redwood Edutours. Dr. Prem Shankar, CEO, Holy Sai Group of Institutions, and President, Tamil Nadu Association of Cambridge Schools. Can we please have our speakers on stage?
Good morning, everyone. No response? What do we do when our students don't respond? Try again. We can't have you fail. Good morning, everyone. No pep. You didn't have coffee, you didn't have breakfast. You should have had the idlis. You'd be full of pep. Good morning, everyone. Better. Welcome to your Big Table session at the ScooNews Global Ed Fest 2025. This is Big Table 4. Teach less, learn more, repeat. What do you take away? Explore the shift from content-heavy schooling to developing agile learners who can adapt, evolve, and lead. And speakers, you'll have 4 minutes. Think, TED Talk. Have your systems on full power. Like the rocket, go right up. And think, TED Talk. Challenge the obsession with content mastery and champion the art of learning how to learn. There will be 4 minutes per speaker. And a little thought before we start. As you start to walk on the way appears. I'm privileged to invite Dr. Richa Prakash, Principal of DPS Kalyanpur, to set the ball rolling.
Good morning, everyone. So could the secret for better learning be less teaching? I think we don't need to continue to push for covering the syllabus as, the syllabus is already rationalized. And as Russell mentioned, that we need to still continue to have assessments. So can we create more space for exploring, thinking, active listening? Could teach less, learn more be the heart of the new mindset? Education today looks like pouring more and more water into a full cup. More and more of information, less and less of absorption. We don't really require to flood the minds, we need to ignite them. So, could we have less of talking and more of listening? I think more hours, more tests, more homeworks is not really leading to more and more of learning all the time, because it is not necessary that more teaching will lead to more learning. It may be ensuring very overworked teachers and far more overwhelmed students. I think when the teachers speak less, students are able to think more. When a classroom goes quiet, so did the hall. On many occasions, when the facilitators did not ask us to continue to listen to them and gave us space to absorb and think, we were more responsive. So if we do that, I think it would lead to a better learning environment. Because learning is not a performance, it is a process. We could slow down on teaching and emphasize more on learning. So how will this teach less and learn more look like? Perhaps fewer lectures, more questioning. Fewer facts, more frameworks of understanding. would that help? I think this entire idea of TLLM, which when I was researching about, I realized is already being implemented since 2005 in Singapore. And this talks about, shifting the power from continuing to teach at students to learning with them, turning our classrooms into laboratory of ideas so that, we have students not only asking questions, but also creating them. We need to make a shift and the focus from how much we teach to how deep the learning goes. So let's not try to teach faster. Let's teach more wiser. Oh, thank you. I was trying to reach up. So, let's try to focus more on how the children would learn, because learning is like osmosis. As Professor Anil said in his a very high-pitched presentation, that learning is from anything, anytime, anywhere. So we need to focus on how we create a classroom where children are more interactive. I'm a social science teacher. Could history be taught by not just reading a textbook, but helping children ask the right questions? So I would like to conclude actually by talking about the UNESCO education framework of learning to know, which is developing the cognitive capabilities in an individual. Learning to do, which is application of those cognitive abilities. Learning to never give up. That I said because it's time up. Learning to live together, developing the social and emotional intelligence. Learning to be, very important, learning to manage oneself. And I would definitely like to end with I loved what Ravi said right in the beginning. Learning to learn from your mistakes. That is something which is very, very essential. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Dr. Prakash, thank you for sharing the secret of learner success. Yes, osmosis is the way forward. Let's all focus on the learner. The next person I'd like to call on is Dr. Seetha Murty, the Distinguished Director, Silver Oaks International Schools. Ma'am will share her wisdom with us.
I certainly hope it's wisdom, but I'll share my thoughts on the topic. Teach less. The word less is something that scares in a country where socially, culturally, everything is done more. From weddings to emotions, everything is more. From quantifying marks and success in terms of money, everything is more. So in a society like this, teach less, where the social construct about education is content is the king, examination is a destination. In a scenario like this, it's going to be a very challenging task to teach less. The content in most of the countries, and particularly in our country, is mile wide and inch deep. I'll repeat it, it's mile wide and inch deep. I'm sure all of us sitting here have gone through some professional courses, either in education or otherwise. You would have learned about different learning theories. One of them, I'll refer to it, the cognitive load theory. Cognitive load theory talks about limited working memory. At any point of time, 5 to 7 elements is what we can hold. If I ask you what was the discussion in the table 1 yesterday and table 2 or in the fight side chat, it could be quite tough for you. You may have to refer back to this. So holding on a lot of information in the brain is quite a challenge for all of us, of course our learners in our classroom. Try to imagine a lift which says it can take up to 10 people and then you load 3 or 4 more people. What does a lift do? Doesn't move up. That's what is also about teaching more, learning more. So I'll stop lamenting about the challenges and I'll start sharing about what is it that I have done as a head of a school as a director of 5 schools. Have I done anything or am I only lamenting about things? So let me see how I'll share what I've done in the last 18 years or so. I reduced the content, okay? Had rewritten the books. Each book, the math book is for 2 years. So my students from grade 1 to 8 have only 4 books. And they engage with these books, deep dive into them, get into the art and science of learning. And then what do? We do a lot of reflection like the Finns. Remember, everybody, the moment Finland topped in the PISA scores, everybody went there as if there's a magic formula that you can buy and unpack over here. The only magic that I found, I didn't go to Finland, I spent some time with the head of the curriculum of Finland. She happened to be in India, and I happened to spend 3-4 days with her. The only thing that they do is they give time for reflection between one class to the next. That's one thing I directly emulated from them. And then I looked at the agency. We in the IB schools talk a lot about giving voice, choice, and ownership to children. We gave a lot of agency to children, and from teachers becoming couriers of content, students have become authors of content and the drivers of content. How? We taught them the Bloom's taxonomy. How many of you know the Bloom's taxonomy here? Everybody knows. So all the taxonomy skills were taught to the children. The content was presented to them. Now we asked them, engage with this content in terms of application, analysis, synthesis, or evaluation. Tell us what is it that you want to evaluate or synthesize or analyze from this. And that's exactly how the learners started learning more and the teachers started teaching less. Finally, I would say this. How many of you have heard Sir Ken Robinson's TED Talk, the most watched TED Talk? Okay. Do schools kill creativity? I beg to differ, though I follow him intensively. Schools don't kill creativity. It is the systems that kill creativity. It's the examination. So when we move away from the social construct that education is all about examination and move to a lifelong learning journey, and it's something every school sitting here can do, I think that is when we teach less, learn more, and we have lifelong learners. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Murty, for your wonderful and wise words. Yes, a deeper dive is the way forward. It is now a great privilege to invite Daniel D'Souza, co-founder of DreamSetGo, to address us.
Good morning, everyone. I feel a little out of place because I'm not from a school. So I'm going to talk to you about what I do. I'll just give you and I'm very privileged to be here, and thanks, Ravi, and I'm extremely happy to be part of this distinguished panel here. So we're part of DreamSetGo, so I'm the co-founder there. So and part of Dream Sports, we run the largest fantasy gaming platform app with about 230 million users on it. And so DreamSetGo is largely focused on the intersection between travel, experience, and learning. So this is what we do as a business. And what we're trying to do is inspire children and the people of India to go and experience things outside. I think, which is very relevant to the topic that we're speaking today. I feel, in Indian schools today, we are preparing them for, a very predictable world, which is actually not. And coming from a corporate background, I can tell you that. I mean, every day there's a new challenge, and having to run a startup at this moment, I can tell you that every day is a different challenge, every hour is a different challenge. So how do you equip your kids now to be ready to take up those challenges is what I think we need to prepare kids for. And through our journey, and since my job involves meeting a lot of heroes, childhood heroes and legends that I've admired over the last few years, I want to just speak about 2 instances that, when I met Kapil Dev about a month back. So, for example, when a kid actually practices cricket, right, and he's trying to hit a cover drive and practice the cover drive consistently, but actually when he's on the field, the changes are very different, right? Because your pitch is different, the fielding is different. How does he adapt and emulate and change his strategy on the ground? I think becomes very, very critical. So today, kids, are they ready to adapt and change at that moment? That becomes, very, very important. Since I just have 2 minutes left, I'm going to talk to you about an initiative that, at DreamSetGo, we're trying to drive, which can inspire kids. So we have this IP called the Dream Icons, where we bring one of the greatest legends down to India. So this year, we're bringing Usain Bolt, the fastest man on the planet, in the month of September, where we give an opportunity to different schools. We've just rolled it out, where children from grade 3 to grade 9 can actually run an 100 or a 200 meter race in their schools, reach a city finals, and then actually get the opportunity to run in front of Bolt, Usain Bolt in Bombay and Delhi. So this is something, it's called the Dream Dash. If Latika is there, my colleague, if you guys need to be part of it, I would urge you to register, because this will be a great opportunity for children to get inspired and be part of a movement that they will never forget for their lifetime. So I want to conclude by saying, Bolt always says, when he was winning all his races, there was no more motivation left. So his coach told him, you first need to learn to lose, so you'll start winning, right? So I think, so it's a great lesson. So as a closing remark, I think at schools, we need to also push children and learn and teach them how to lose as well, so that they learn how to win in the real life. Yeah, thank you so much.
Certainly, learning how to lose is very important. And yes, both sport and travel are integral to being educated. Thank you, Daniel, for sharing a very refreshing and most pertinent point of view. I'd now like to invite Aditya Gandhi, an experienced entrepreneur, who will regale us with his commitment to reshaping education for the complexities of the 21st century.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Been an interesting one, right? I want to start. I'm Aditya. I'm one of the founders of Redwood. We're an organization that builds experiential learning through travel journeys aligned to school curriculum. I didn't start Redwood because I love travel. I mean, not more than anybody else in this room. I didn't start Redwood because I came from a place of deep insight into education or student development. When we started by listening to schools and educators and what they felt was happening and what their children needed. And an overwhelming sentiment that we got was the students were growing up in bubbles, unaware of the realities of India or the rich heritage and culture that our own country had. Growing up without the sense of identity that they would have loved their children to grow up with. And so that is what led to Redwood. We built programs where students learn history and archaeology through mock excavations and scavenger hunts at Hampi, learn about the Gonds and living in coexistence with the forest ecosystem at Pench, learn about mangroves, intertidals, Khazan system, and conflicts at Goa. They learn about migration, war, conflict at Dharamshala through the Tibetan communities. And they see global impact happen at a village in Rajasthan, where the barefoot college model is now being replicated in more than 70 countries worldwide. I think the idea for these journeys is to enable children to grow in ways that is deeply personal to them and impactful for a very large part of their life. And children surprise us. I remember reflections of a boy from one of the programs saying that waking up at 5 a.m. by himself was his biggest takeaway from the journey. A girl learning to manage braiding her own hair with her roommates being her biggest win or the biggest sense of accomplishment. To students finding agency in taking up communication for a women's project or building a podcast to bring about Tibetan stories into their schools. Over the years, we've seen learning happen best when we've taken a pause. We've allowed them to breathe, to touch the grass, sit by a lakeside, reflect. And I think that is why this topic felt deeply personal. Teach less, learn more. I don't think it's about trimming syllabus. I don't think it's about teaching. I think it's about teaching differently, more intentionally, with more purpose, with deep meaning. Sandeep Sir's built an entire curriculum at a single monument. And it's incredible to see the depth and the intent that can come out in a single place. We've had schools that have had their students spend months building SEL and STEM kits when they've come to interact with government schools. We've had schools that have built 3 to 4 months of their curriculum on a single journey, really embodying the place's text. And we've even had schools that have mapped a 10-year progression to build what is it for a student to discover personal identity and nationality as an Indian. AI will compensate for content and knowledge. I think what this generation needs is educators to hold learning with intention, designed to be immersive and be purposeful. Thank you.
Thank you, Aditya. Let's all teach with purpose, dare to be different. Let's make it happen. 3. You're getting better, you're getting better. So 3 is when you clap. But anyone finishes after speaking so well, please clap, even if it's not 3. Yeah, that's what we do. Well done, well done. Great, great, thank you. Lovely audience. So there's something for the audience now. There is freedom waiting for you. There is freedom waiting for you on the breezes of the sky. And you ask, what if I fall? What if I fail? And you ask, what if I fall and die? The answer comes from the wind. Oh, but my darling, what if you fly? What if you fly? So when you take a leap of faith, you could fly. I'm very pleased to invite Dr. S. Prem Shankar, an eminent educationist, innovative builder, organic farmer, and president of the Tamil Nadu Association of Cambridge Schools, to address us.
Happy morning. Vanakkam. Please do learn little Tamil because November, Ravi sir is inviting you all to Tamil Nadu. And we'll be with dhotis to receive you right from the airport. My dear leaders, you all are sitting so silent and I think you all are waiting for tea. And the classroom should be a productive classroom, right? Enthusiastic classroom, right? Can we do an activity now? Yeah. So you will join with me. I'll tell you what to do and you're going to do that. Like this, eyes, ears, head. Okay, can we start? Eyes, head, nose, ears, head. Good. Nose, head, ears, chin. Very good. Is that your chin? Some are good. Teach less or teach more. Of course, the topic is teach less, learn more, repeat. Being a proud farmer of India and an educationalist for more than 3 decades, what do we teach? The question is that. Whether we teach less or teach more, what do we teach? Are we preparing students for exams or for life? It's a $1 million question. And most of the times, the plan of yesterday we try to execute today. And today our maturity is much better than yesterday. My dear leaders of this hall, please do understand the last 30 years, what happened to the lakes of this country, rivers, and the lands. And what do we eat now? And in the morning, we could see the plastics and the waste, how terrible it is. So something we have to teach our students for a better living, because this planet is not owned by us. The planet is given to us, and we have to make it a little better. We have to reduce the carbon footprints and to hand over to the next generation. The teaching should be in that mode. Right from yesterday morning, we learned a lot of things. And we have to use it wisely in the coming days. The teaching for life is, we should teach the students how they should be resilient. Empathy is not taught in our classrooms. Wellness is not taught in the classrooms. We focus more on science, math, and things. All right, good. We search water in the Mars, and we don't teach the students how to use water wisely, and we don't use at times. My time is up, they've said. I'll meet you all at Tamil Nadu to continue this discussion. Let's all have a healthy and happy living. Engal Varvum, Engal Valamum, Mangada Tamilendru, Sange Murangu. This means my wealth, my peace, my happiness is like Tamil, it grows.
We must compliment Dr. Prem Shankar for inspiring us on how to live better. Truly, let's teach empathy, sustainability, wellness, well-being. Thank you for teaching us many life lessons, sir. In this brave new world, let us all be those who can learn, unlearn, and relearn, but make an impact that takes humanity in the right direction. We've heard the wonderful speakers. Please now feel free to ask questions. The audience has been most well-mannered. You must ask some questions. However, a question is not a point of view. A question is not an address. So please ask in question. You have your speakers here. You have Ma'am Richa Prakash. You have Ma'am Seetha Murty. You have Mr. Daniel D'Souza. You have Mr. Aditya Gandhi. And of course, Dr. Prem Shankar. So you may ask questions and they will answer, but only in 45 seconds. Ravi is very strict. We must abide by the time. All questions are welcome. In case someone has a point of view, please use a QR code and put it on the cloud, the thingy. First question on the right, gentleman on the right. Yes, please.
I wish I could, but so we're getting him to Bombay and Delhi. So we have him for, it's September 26, 27, 28th. So he's going to be in Bombay for 2 days and Delhi for a day. So we have about 6 events planned around that. And so the Dream Dash is happening in Bombay and Delhi. So about... Can schools send their students to meet you? Yes, so they have we're calling it the Dream Dash. So kids will actually run in their school and then qualify for a finals. And then the children who qualify for the finals then will run in front of Usain Bolt. They'll get a lot of signed merchandise from Usain Bolt and also get to interact and take pictures with him. So I think it'll be a lifetime opportunity for the children. Yeah. Yes, we'll have a link sent to everyone. Thank you so much.
What are the technique? Please give the solution.
So processing that information is the problem because there is certain set of information that every student requires to appear for the board examination. So I think how do students engage with that is the freedom that every school has, creating that learning ecosystem, how children engage with that, yet get some mastery over it. So for me, information doesn't scare me. What scares me more is how do I engage the children in processing that information. And that's what is learning more. So that's the art and science of learning that we created in our schools.
Yeah, good morning. My question is also to Director Seetha Murty. Okay. So one statement you made was like 8 years and 4 books.
Yeah.
So how did you map the curriculum? If you could just expand a little very briefly.
Yeah,
Thank
so, you know, 25 years into this century, we are ranting about 21st century skills. But somebody has to do something about it. What we did was we identified the learning skills, we identified, of course, the self-management, social thinking, communication, research skills fall into place because we are IB schools. But we also identified the learning skills that are required. Those are prominently displayed everywhere in the school corridors. And each time a student passes, anybody there, a teacher or somebody, can challenge the student showing some skill on the board. Tell me, where did you do this? And that's when the students connect that skill, either of learning or thinking or communication, to a content or a fact or a piece of information that they have processed a day before or a month before. So we challenge them into how are they using their learning skills to process the information. Of course, much more than that. But approaches to learning become the framework for learning. Actually, they are the syllabus, and the books and the content is not the syllabus. That's how we have changed the paradigm. It's only the intention, if I want to read this point, it's only the intention that we need to have, and we just have to have that fire in us that we need to bring the change. Like a keynote speaker said, schools have to show examples. I think that's what we did. We reduced the content, made it mile deep, inch wide, and with which the students engaged for 2 years. And that's how we could help them learn more, and our job is just facilitating.
So we've got a placard that says time up. So 3.
Thank you so much. I now request Mr. Ravi Santlani to kindly felicitate our speakers.